Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn webinar. Today's topic is Pinterest 101. I just wanted to thank everyone for spending your lunchtime with us. Today's Lunch and Learn will only be 30 minutes as opposed to the hour-long webinars we held last month leading up to Symposium. But just a few housekeeping things. If you have any questions throughout today's webinar, please feel free to type them into the questions box at any time, and I'll be sure to get to those. If we do run out of time for questions at the end, I can always follow up with you via email. And at the end of today's webinar, I'll be sure to post my contact information in case you have any questions that come up following today's event. Today's webinar, I'm going to have a few slides that I'm going to go over, but a lot of today's webinar will be live on the Pinterest website. Before we get started, I just have two quick polls that I'd like everyone to take, just so I have a better understanding of how everyone feels with Pinterest. The first question that we have here is, do you have a Pinterest account? Just a simple yes or no, just so I have a better feeling of where everyone on today's webinar stands. I'll give everyone just a few more seconds to answer the question. Okay, great. And it looks like about 60% of you on today's webinar have a Pinterest account, which means almost half of you do not. So I'll be sure to show you how to set up your Pinterest account in today's webinar. The second question here is, what confuses you most about Pinterest? Is it the terminology, how you can use it for advocacy, how to pin, what to pin, how to sign up? You can choose more than one answer here, so feel free to click as many of those as apply. And I'll give everyone just a few more seconds to fill out this poll. Okay, great. So it looks like almost everybody on today's webinar is looking for more information on how to use Pinterest for advocacy, what to pin, how to pin, and the terminology. Most of you know how to sign up, but since some of you are still unsure, I'll be sure to share that information with you. Okay, the first thing that I would like to go over is, what is Pinterest? Pinterest is a virtual pin board, and it lets you organize and share all the things that you find on the web. People use pin boards to decorate their homes, find fun and new ideas for their children, and discover new websites and blogs. Best of all, you can browse pin boards created by other people. Browsing pin boards is a fun way to discover new things and get inspiration from people who share your interests. Another great thing that Pinterest offers is shared boards, and I can show you an example of that in a little while. Okay, so as I mentioned, how to sign up. The easiest way to sign up is just go to Pinterest.com and select the button Join Pinterest at the top of the page. You no longer need to be invited to Pinterest to join. Before this, someone had to send you an invite, and it was an invite-only website. But now you can register via Facebook, Twitter, or with just a simple email address. So as you can see, I've highlighted where it says Join Pinterest, and you can easily sign up and start pinning away. Okay, so terminology. Looks like quite a few people on today's webinar were confused about terminology, so I wanted to go over some of the main terms used when discussing Pinterest. A pin is the first word we have up here, and it is an image added to Pinterest. A pin can be added from a website using the Pin It button, or you can upload images from your computer. You can also, once those images are uploaded from your computer, add a website so they'll redirect back to your website. Each pin added using the Pin It button links back to the site that it came from. I will be sure to show you examples of how to do both types of pins when I log on to the website. A board is a set of pins. A board can be created on any topic, such as a parent network or disaster resources, and you can add as many pins to a board as you want. Following someone means that you'll see that person's pins shown to you in real time on Pinterest. If he or she creates a new board, you will automatically follow that new board as well. You can follow individual boards if you're only interested in seeing pins added to specific boards, or you can follow someone's entire set of boards and see all of those pins at the same time. You can unfollow other people or boards at any time, and they will not be notified. Repinning. A repin is adding an image you find while browsing Pinterest to your own board. When you repin an image, the user who first pinned the image will also get notification. A repin maintains the link of the image no matter how many times it is repinned. For example, if you were to pin something that linked back to your website and it is repinned 15 times, each of those people who have repinned it, when they click on that image, it will still link back to your website. Liking a pin adds the image to your profile's like section, but does not add the image to one of your boards. So if someone is visiting your boards and you've liked an image, they will not see that image. They would have to go to the like section of your page to see those images. Repinning an image allows you to categorize the image onto one of your boards. You can edit the description or the comment, but the source link, as I mentioned, of the image is saved automatically no matter how many times it is repinned. I will also show you at the bottom of each image how you can comment and mention somebody in a pin. I'm going to pull up Pinterest here just so you can see what I was talking about with all of that terminology. Okay, this is our Pinterest account here. As you can see, the images that show up here don't necessarily show things that we've pinned, but it's things that people that we follow have pinned. If we go over to our page by clicking here in the upper right-hand corner, that takes us to the boards which hold all of the images that we have pinned. As you can see over here, we have the number of people that we are following and the number of people following us. We have liked 2 images and pinned 298 pins. We currently have 9 boards, as you can see here below. First, I'd like to show you this board, which is one of our shared boards. We were invited to this board by Save the Children, and as you can see over here on the left, these are the people that are allowed to pin images to this board, and on the right, you can see how many people follow this board. If we post something to this board, it will be shown to more people than those that just follow us. So it's a great way to expand your network. If you are invited to join shared boards, I highly recommend it, as people who don't necessarily follow you may see your information and choose to follow you or gain something from the information that you have pinned. This board only has 30 pins, but as you can see, they all link back to different websites full of great information. If we go back to the main Pinterest page here, you can always search up here for something that you're looking for, or you can just take something that appears and you can choose to pin it. For example, let's take this image here. We'll click on it to give you a little bit of a zoomed in version. When you click on the image, it gives you a lot more options than when you just view it on that main screen. You can choose to pin it by clicking this Pin It button here, which I'll click, and then this little pop-up will appear. As you can see, you can choose which board you'd like to add the pin to. It will offer you all of the boards you've already created, or you can create a new board right on the spot. So we would want to add this, let's say, to educational tools. And it says milk cap number matching. But if we wanted to change what this said, we can just highlight it and say, great learning tool. If we wanted someone else that we are following to see this information, we can just type the @ symbol and start typing in their name, and they will automatically pop up. We can click their name, and it will tag them in the post, so they're able to see the image that they are tagged in. This is great if you are tagging people in your pictures and you want them to see that you have tagged them in one of these pins on your boards. You can just use that @ symbol and make sure that they can see it right there. Now let's say you didn't want to pin this, but you really like it. All you have to do is click this like button at the top, and it is added to the likes on your board. Over here, if you click on website, it will redirect you to the website where this image was originally pinned from. It makes it really easy if you're looking for more information on that topic. So it's just a quick way to learn more about that pin. Also, I mentioned that you can comment on these as well. So with this image that has been pinned, just come down here and click Add a Comment, and you can leave that comment there. You can also tag people in comments if that's something that you're looking to do. To get out of that pin, just click outside that little pop-up, and it'll bring you back to this main screen here. Now, if you're looking to add a pin, you can just come over to the drop-down under your name and click Add Pin. With that, it gives you two options, choosing a file from your computer or choosing an image off of a website. If we wanted to, let's say we had images on our blog that we wanted to pin to our different boards, we can type in our blog website here and click Find Images. And it will find those images, we select one, and pin it. If you wanted to just upload a file from your computer that's not yet online, you can just click Choose File, and browse through your folders like you would searching for any other file on your computer. Click it and fill it out the same way. If you wanted that to redirect to your website, you have the option to add in the URL as you are uploading it. Again, to get out of this box here, just click outside and it will return you to this main screen. You can also find friends through your different social media tools by clicking on Find Friends. If you link it through Facebook or Twitter, you can find people that you're following through Facebook or Twitter already. If you click on your board, it will take you back to the boards that you have created. Okay, another question that people typically ask with Pinterest, the same with other social media tools, is can I use it on my phone? And there are currently apps for the iPhone, the iPad, and in the Android store where you can download them and access Pinterest on the go. This is great if you are, let's say, at a conference and you take a great image and you want to share it with people that aren't necessarily following your Facebook and Twitter accounts. You can post it on Pinterest and it may be reaching a larger network than you may already be reaching. So I think it's great to have on your mobile devices so you can reach that network at any point. Another thing that we mentioned earlier, it looks like people were wondering different ways to use Pinterest as an advocacy tool. So I'm going to pull up our Pinterest account again here, just show you live. It's a little bit easier. I think that the best way to do so is the different boards that you create. Many people post recipes and things like that on Pinterest, but we wanted to make sure that we were using it for advocacy. So our different boards, we have our Child Care Action Network, we have a parent network, our parent resources, and those may not be the first thing that draw people to our Pinterest page. So we have other boards as well that we're hoping if people follow one board, they'll follow more. So, for example, our Fun for Children board. There's different activities for children in here, rainy day activities, fun crafts, and a lot of people tend to follow our Fun for Children board. But it brings them back to the rest of our boards, or they see that we've pinned it, they may come and click our name, they may go to our website, but we're hoping that through Pinterest, we're able to reach a larger network of people that may want to be involved in our advocacy efforts, not just our Fun for Children Pinterest board. Okay, there are some of the other questions that came up when I asked what confuses you most about Pinterest was what to pin and how to pin. Some organizations may have different rules as to what to pin or how to pin. We typically like to pin things, especially for, let's say, our parent resources or our action network, things that we have put on our website. It's a great way to drive traffic back to your website. which is why I really encourage using images on your website, because if you have great images on there, they're going to be great on Pinterest. And the better images you have, the more likely they are to be shared and spread across this entire social network. So we talked about how to use it for advocacy, terminology, and how to sign up. So I wanted to kind of open it up now for some questions, just in case anybody has things that may still be confusing or they wanted to know how to do, and I want to make sure to give you my email address here in case you have any questions that come up later. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the question box, and I will answer them as they come in. Okay, there's a question here that says, do you need to credit the source somewhere? And that's a really great question, and I think that the very first answer to that would be, if you have a social media policy within your organization, that may be something that is addressed in that policy, so you would need to first and foremost follow the policy that your organization requires. But one great thing with Pinterest is when you're clicking through the links, making sure that you're posting an image that links back somewhere is really important, because it will link back to the original source. So I think that making sure that you're pinning images that don't just lead to a dead link or something like that will ensure that you're crediting the information where it needs to be. There's a question here that says, how about linking Pinterest to Facebook accounts? That's a really great way to start your network off on Pinterest. I recommend that you start off linking it so you can find people that you are following on Facebook. It's just a great way to increase the network and people that you're reaching and build those relationships, not just on Facebook, but on Pinterest as well. One of the questions here says, are there any issues to be aware of with regard to media releases and Pinterest? I'm a little bit confused as to what this question is in regards to, if the releases include images, or what specific issue you may be thinking of with media releases. So if you can just elaborate on that, I'm more than happy to answer it. Oh, great question here. Do you have any best practices or lessons learned on how often to pin and how many boards to have? It's a really good question. I think that having as many boards as appropriate for your organization. You don't want to start creating boards that aren't going to benefit the organization. I mean, I don't think it would help us out if we created a recipe board, because that's not what our organization is about. So we want to make sure that we stay true to what we're trying to accomplish with our Pinterest account. So it's really how many boards you think are a good fit for your organization. And as I said, these boards can have as many pins as you would like. You can make them as large or as small as you want. Best practices on how often to pin. I think it's just finding pins that are relevant to your subject matter. If you are posting from your website, or you are posting from maybe one of your blogs, you can really just pin as often as you would like. But just know that when you're pinning, it is in real time, so people who are following you may see that you go on and you just pin 20 images. They may not scroll through all of them. So it's definitely a trial and error. Okay, there's a question here to show an example of an advocacy pin. So I'm going to go back over to our boards here. So for example, we'll click on our Child Care Action Network. Okay, so this is our Action Network. We have links to our In the States pages here. So if you wanted to go back and click through, find your state, these all link back to our website to these specific pages. But also, for example, last week was our symposium event where we had our Day on the Hill. So we have an image here of our members from North Dakota up on Capitol Hill ready to meet with their members of Congress. So we took this photo, and then we just put it on our Pinterest account, and shows our members here and one of our parent leaders, and we left a little comment here just saying what it is. So with this, we can also link it back to our website. As you can see, when I hover over the image, our website pops up at the bottom, or you can click here, website, and it will drive you back to our website. Other examples of advocacy pins, let's see, we can go somewhere else other than our Action Network. We have educational tools over here. So we have things such as our background checks. We are a great resource on our website under our core policy issues page for background checks. So if you click on the background checks image here, it will take you to our core policy page and give you the information that you may be looking for on background checks. So whether you, the great thing with this image is it says background checks on top of the image, so people know what they're clicking when they want that information and where it's going to go. And as you can see, as I hover over the image again, it tells you that it will be going to our core issues page on our website. Okay, and let's see, other questions here. All right. Just give me a moment to read through these. This is a great question. It says, how do you monitor items you have pinned to your organization board in the case that they may have switched interests and are no longer compatible with your organization? Must you be online continuously? And that's a really good thought. I think that we typically follow different organizations that we know are pretty consistent with what they're posting. We follow people such as Save the Children or Highlights Magazine, people that we know are pretty consistent with what they're posting. And then with the pins that we're posting, they may link back to a blog or something, and we don't have full control over what everyone is saying, but it will link back to the specific post that we chose to pin. And a lot of times we'll pin things directly to our website, just so we can drive that traffic back to our website, and also we have full control over what is being pinned and posted on our site. Okay, so it looks like we have the follow-up information regarding that media release. It says, are there any special regulations where Pinterest is concerned regarding ownership of photos? And I know that that has been in the media a lot, whether who owns the photos once they're posted to Pinterest. And I guess that as long as the picture belongs to you, you should be able to post that image. A lot of the images on our website, like for example, that North Dakota picture that I just showed, I actually took the photo, so I know that we owned the photo. We were able to post it. So if you do own the photo, you should not have a problem pinning it to your site. Great question here. How do you delete something you decide is not appropriate? Well, it shouldn't be appearing unless you have pinned it. So you would probably have that, you make that decision before it was pinned. But let's say that you posted something and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't post that. You can go back and unpin something. For example, let me pull up one of our boards here. Okay, so if we go over here, we can click on the image. And if we decided we didn't want to have this show up anymore, we should be able to click over here. So as you saw, let me go back so it's a little bit slower. When you hover over the image, this little pen will show up. You can click on it, and you can edit the pin that way, whether you want to change the description or change the URL where it's going, or you can choose to delete the pin. So you can always go back if something has been pinned and you've decided it no longer fits with that, you can delete the pin just that easily. Another great thing I just want to mention before our webinar ends, if we go over to our boards, Pinterest now has secret boards. So this is a really really great way to build your network or build the resources in your board before making it public. You can create a board and pin all of your pins to that board without them showing up in real time on your Pinterest page. Once that board is created, let's say, for example, in our Action Network, we have those 50 states pages that are all showing up in there and linked back to our pages. If you wanted to add all 50 states to one page before you've made it live, you can do so in a secret board and then make it public. But just remember, you can't take a public board and then make it secret. Okay, I think that is all of our questions so far. I'll give everyone just a couple more minutes to add a question in here before we end today's webinar. And I will actually put up my contact information again, just in case you need it. As I said, feel free to shoot me an email anytime if something comes up. I'm more than happy to answer questions, whether it's on Pinterest or any of our other social networking platforms. Here's a question. There's a question that says, do you put disclaimers on Pinterest or just on a business Facebook page? We don't have any disclaimers on our Pinterest page right now. That's definitely something that you would want to discuss within your organization and decide what is the best fit for you. Let's see, and also make sure that you create your Pinterest account as a business page and not as a personal page. And I know that there's a difference on Facebook, but they have that distinction on Pinterest as well. Great question. I know that we had mentioned commenting on pins, and the question is, since people can comment on pins, can you monitor or control that? And you don't have the ability to monitor what people are commenting on those pins, but if things did get kind of dicey, you can always delete the pin so that comment trail is then deleted. But it looks like that's all for our questions today. So I wanted to just thank everybody for attending today's Lunch and Learn webinar. I really appreciate you spending this time with us. And again, if anything comes up following the webinar, please feel free to email me. And we look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time for our next Lunch and Learn. Have a great day.